All right, so now we're gonna head over to MLB. We got tonight. We got the ALCS with the Red Sox versus the Astros, and then tomorrow night we got the NLCS with the Dodgers versus the Braves. Those that don't know what I mean with the acronyms, that's American League Championship Series, National League Championship Series. So with that said, Jay, please tell the people what we're looking for tonight and tomorrow night.
I think one of the in the American League where you got Houston and Boston. By the way, Houston's fifth straight American League Championship Series appearance. You know, you can say what you want about trash cans and all these other things, but these dudes are consistent. I got to tell you that. They will be without Lance McCullers Jr., who was fantastic in Game 1 of the Division Series and pitched well up until in Game 4 of the ALDS. Had some arm tightness. I think they left him off the roster. Jake Odorizzi is going to replace him. So their rotation not as strong as maybe they'd like. I guess I'm assuming they're going to go with Framber Valdez in Game 1 tonight. I think Boston's going to go with Chris Sale. Obviously, Game 1, you know, you'd like to get out to a 1-0 lead in that one. I'm leaning Houston this series. I think, you know, when you look at their batting lineup 1 through 7, there are no weaknesses whatsoever. When you talk about Altuve, Michael Brantley, Alex Bregman, Yordan Alvarez, Yuli Gurriel, Carlos Correa, and Kyle Tucker, who I think led baseball in on-base plus slugging, and he's batting 7th for this team. So that just gives you a picture of the just depth of this club. I think Boston they're well deserving of being here. They were able to beat the Yankees in the wild card, and I mean I was somewhat surprised that they got by Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay's pitching staff was they had quite a few injuries in their rotation. And plus, you look at the losses of Blake Snell and Charlie Morton in the offseason. I think that played a factor as well. Their lineup's also very good. I think even without Lance McCullers in that rotation, I still think the Astros have a slight pitching edge. The lineups may be somewhat even, but Houston, home field advantage. Their lineup's a little bit deeper, and I think it's a little bit more explosive than Boston. But it's gonna come down to me. I think it comes down to pitching. I think Houston's pitching is a little bit better, even though Lance McCullers is not there. But it also depends, I think, what Chris Sale do we get? If we get Chris Sale, who's, you know, a Cy Young winner and can get double-digit strikeouts like it's nobody's business, and if he comes out and like, you know, has a great performance tonight, then that might change my opinion in this series. But I haven't seen, you know, enough consistency of the old Chris Sale to believe that'll happen. I'll take Houston in this series. I'll take it in 6. I think Boston can push them a little bit, but I think Houston's going to advance. I think the other way in the National League, I think the Braves are a great story. I think this is. Well, I can't remember if this under Brian Snitker. They may have advanced to the championship series in the last couple of years, but this one I definitely didn't expect. When your best player, Ronald Acuna Jr., goes down in the regular season, they remake this entire outfield at the trading deadline. We talk about Adam Duvall, Eddie Rosario, Jorge Soler, who I think is going to miss this series now or could miss this series, and then also Jock Peterson. They remake this entire outfield. The batting averages, when you look at them, they aren't pretty, but they do. Yeah.
What? Sorry to interrupt. Why you think Soler gonna miss the series?
I read some headline that he's got might be a calf injury or something. I think his status is in doubt right now. Get the research department on that one, which is me tonight, I guess. The guys took the day off. Okay. I'm reading that it's because of COVID. I guess he didn't get the vaccine. But anyway, look. I think the Braves have overachieved by a long shot. Milwaukee was the home team in that NLDS. I'm looking at them, and then I'm looking at the Los Angeles Dodgers. They are the defending champions. This is a team that before the season started, they looked like perhaps the odds-on favorite. They went out the trade deadline. They got better. They got Max Scherzer. They got Trey Turner. Now their rotation is not as strong as it could be. We know about Trevor Bauer with all the issues he's having off the field, and Clayton Kershaw's out for the postseason. So you only have half of that magnificent quartet with Max Scherzer now and Walker Buehler, but you do have Julio Urias. He can come in and he can pitch well for you. So, but I think all in all, even with some of the guys that the Dodgers don't have, I think it's going to be really, really tough for the Braves to upset the apple cart in this one. I think we're on a collision course to see a rematch of the 2017 World Series with the Astros and the Dodgers. We've been close to a rematch of that the past couple years, but I think we're going to get it here. I think the Dodgers, I think they get them out of here in 5. I think they're that good. And I think this is about as far as the Braves can go, unless their pitching overperforms, but I just don't see it.
Yo, listen. I just want to say, hey, we do talk before the show, but when we make predictions like this, we kind of like keep that to the cuff until we make the prediction, just to see how we thinking. And right. I'm telling you right now, that is exactly what I got. I can't make this up. I had Houston in 6 because I respect Boston. And I had the Dodgers in 5 because I don't respect the Braves as much. Listen, I got it. They made it to this spot, but listen, I was not overly impressed with the Milwaukee series, last series, and the divisional series. I found it very hard for people to score in that whole series. I mean, It was a low-scoring affair, that whole series. And now you got a team like the Dodgers that can really hit it. And I get what you're saying about they lost a couple of guys, but hey, I mean, if you're gonna give me Buehler, if you're gonna give me Scherzer, and listen, this kid Julio Urias, listen, he was a 20-game winner, folks. So
right.
This guy's not a scrub by no means. So I just think, like you said, man, I look at the Dodgers and I'm like, yeah. They had to play that emotional game last night, but let's keep it real here. San Francisco won deep. I would put it like this: they played that game in San Francisco last night for a reason, and the Dodgers had to pull out all the stops to get it done, and rightfully so, because San Francisco is the type of team you would have to do that. You don't win 9 games without being a legitimate team. So. I just think the Dodgers will be too much for the Braves. I don't think that series will be particularly competitive. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't foresee the Braves really. They, like we said, I give them a game because they're a professional team, but I don't think that series is gonna be that competitive. So I think the series I will pay attention more is the American League Championship Series. Listen, because like I say, I got tons of respect for what Boston doing, and you got to have respect for Houston. Like you said, make the trash can jokes all you want to, but if you take the trash can out of the ordeal, Houston still was out here smoking stuff. So you can hang on to that, and you can use that joke, but when you get beat without the trash can, it's gonna be even worse now. At least the people in the past can complain about a trash can. Signs, yeah, okay, you got it, but you can't say that now, and you still losing to them. So it's kind of like that Patriots thing, right? Spygate, deflated footballs. But then when you don't got all that, then what?
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's one of those things that, like, you look at that, especially from my perspective, just like the Patriots, like Patriots and Astros, you go back to the Patriots' success, which that thing is kind of over right now. But, I mean, they were clearly good enough to win without whatever – assistance they were getting by, questionable methods, to put it diplomatically. And the same thing can be said for Houston. These guys were good, and, uber talented regardless of whatever, methods they employed, which were against the rules. So, and I also think, the underrated thing, I really don't want to, I don't think the whole thing of 5 consecutive ALCS appearances or championship series appearances can be undersold. I think that's only happened 2 other times in the history of the sport. So these guys, not only are they talented, but the experience, like they just, I mean, the old phrase of like act like you've been there before. Well, they don't have to act because they've been here before, just over and over and over and over. That no situation is going to intimidate these guys. And to Boston's credit, they got a lot of guys, who've been in these situations before. They were the 2018 World Series champions. Alex Cord, don't forget about him being back as the manager. I think that makes a big deal. But I think it's Houston's time in the ALCS, and also for Dusty Baker. Like I think it'd be a real feel-good story if you look at the aftermath of the cheating scandal by Houston. They lose AJ Hinch. They kick the GM out of town as well. And then you bring in Dusty Baker at the ripe age of, I don't know, 88 or whatever. He ain't that old, but you get what I'm saying. But this is a guy who's been around the block. And the only thing missing from this guy's resume is a World Series. I'm rooting for him. I really am. And back to the other side very quickly. Atlanta, you talk about Atlanta and Milwaukee. Very low-scoring series. And you kind of expect that with Milwaukee. Milwaukee really known for their pitching. They struggle to swing the bat. Braves able to get by them. They were able to hold it down. They were able to pitch effectively. But it's just going to be a completely different level because the Dodgers, even though they're missing a few guys, like you say, they still can roll out. They still can roll out three, ace-like guys with great stuff. And then you look at their lineup. I think the lineup, they're only missing one guy, I believe, and that's Max Muncy. But even so, this lineup is deep. When you talk about up top, you got Mookie Betts, you got Corey Seager and Trey Turner, and then you get to the guys who can, hit for some power. And I tell you, if Cody Bellinger, can get out of his season-long funk, he's probably the X factor at this point. But I think it's just such a huge step up in competition. Even though Milwaukee had a heck of a season, the Dodgers are just on a different level, and I just think it's too much to ask for Atlanta to overcome that.
Yeah, and so with that said, for our baseball listeners that say we don't talk much baseball, here you go. Here go the preview for the championship series.
We'll be back on this next week.